Have you been thinking about taking pottery lessons and looking to throw on the potter's wheel with a real professional potter? Well, if you have, you're in the right place. My studio is in East Northamptonshire, which is really easy to get to from most of the UK. If you'd like to take a session, you can either book in for a morning or a whole day, and I'm sure we can accommodate you as soon as possible. Stay tuned to the rest of this video to see what you might expect for your first session. For the best tips and advice on all things pottery making and throwing, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell when I post a new video every Saturday morning to be notified. I'm Richard Gibson of Potterydayz. I've got over 30 years of experience as a sculptor, ceramicist and potter. I've been teaching thousands of people to throw and successfully make pots over the years. It's my passion to help you gain the best experience you can, either from doing a lesson at my studio or from the tutorial videos. So let's get to it so you can see what you can experience in your first pottery session. And don't forget to stay tuned until the end so you can pick up some really useful tips to help you quickly improve your throwing. The first part is centering. Now, centering is achieved by the combined forces using each hand. Coning is a part of centering. As you can see, it is the consistent pressure that is going to centre the clay. It isn't necessarily the amount of pressure that will do it. Lots of water, which is your lubricant, is required throughout the processes. Firstly, we're going to push in with our left hand into the centre at 7 o'clock. The right hand is going to do 2 or 3 different things. First of all, it is going to be placed at 5 o'clock and you're going to squeeze living daylights out of the clay so it goes into a cone. If you keep your thumbs on the top, it will keep it nice and round and it won't form an accidental hole which will quickly fill it with water. So, squeeze into the centre to form a cone. Keep your left hand at 7 o'clock and your right hand can then be at 5 o'clock. By squeezing the clay up the cone, it will form that column. Keep your left hand at 7 o'clock, push down with your right hand and your left hand will yield to the shape that you're making. Consistent pressure. The right hand is now on the top to form the shape that you wish to finish up with. The clay is now in the centre. By the way, don't forget to comment below on what got you interested in pottery in the first place, and if you started throwing, let me know which bits are the most tricky. The second part is to open out the clay. Now for those of you who've seen other videos, what you may witness here is I'm actually opening out the clay in front of me as opposed to on the sides using both thumbs. That is a process that's done by a lot of potters. However, it's not how I was taught, and I find it much easier to open the clay using both hands in front of you. Lots of water, push down slowly to make a V shape. You can see that I haven't just made a hole or a tunnel. The reason that I do it like this is because the next part is actually just a carry forward of this. You don't need to change the positions of your hand. So we've made the hole, and now we're going to open the inside of the pot, and we're actually going to do this towards our tummy. So one hand over the other, just pull the clay with confidence straight towards your tummy. Voila. Okay, now we've opened out the clay. The third part of this is called the lift, and that is where we try to thin the sides. This takes place largely on the right hand side at 3 o'clock using both of our hands. However, the first part of this is actually achieved working in the front of us. Let me demonstrate. Don't forget lots of water. I'm going to wrap my thumb underneath the bulge of the pot with my left hand and fingers inside. The right hand is simply going to go over the top. The aim is to push and thin towards the middle as you go. So we have achieved the first lift, which has actually taken place directly in front of us. For the rest of the process, we now work on the right hand side at approximately 3 o'clock. Your job is to counteract the centrifugal force, which is going to throw this pot out to the edge of the wheel head. If you can control that, you can make the shape that you want, which is actually a cylinder. The reason we make a cylinder is because nearly all shapes except bowls and plates come from a cylinder. That's all we're trying to achieve. So that was the second lift. We'll go for that again, and this time I will show you the hand position. The right hand makes this shape. Extend your hand in like a karate chop, wrap your finger around your thumb. Don't forget you can flex your wrist. Place it on just above the wheel head and use the outside of your finger to throw against. Your left hand will go inside the pot, as many fingers as you can get in, or you can split your fingers if it's easier. Any spare fingers or the thumb put on that knuckle. Squeeze a bit of clay, draw both hands up at the same time. The fingers are exactly opposite each other. Continue that process and the clay will release through your fingers as you draw it up. Last time. And we've made a basic cylinder. Okay, here are some bonus tips that I talked about earlier, which will help you speed on your way to make some successful pots. Tip number 1. When you're throwing, keep your elbows or your arms on the tray. Arms on the tray, elbows into your body. That will give you much more stability than raising an elbow out here, unless of course you've got a huge pot where you've got to get your whole arm in. Try to keep both of your arms steady, elbows into your body. Makes a huge difference about controlling the forces. Tip number 2, wherever possible throughout the throwing process, combine your hands so that they're not working independently of each other. It's much more difficult to operate like a puppet rather than combining them together so that they work in unison. Link your hands wherever possible. And finally, tip number 3, which I believe is not taught so much, is learn to take your hands off carefully. What most people don't realise is that when they take their hands away from the clay, especially when you're learning, you actually apply force first. And that happens in lots of areas of life accidentally. So think Zen. Zen in the art of pottery. Take away your hands really slowly. Be very conscious of it when you begin. If you've got any problems about throwing, you're welcome to give me a call on 0796 7215 745, or any questions, please email me on the link below. I've created a free bonus video that will help you turn your basic cylindrical shape into a multifaceted jar. Just click on the link below to get your free download. Also, if you want to check out my Potterydayz Facebook page, click on the link below. If you like this video, please let me know by liking it, subscribe and share with your fellow pottery enthusiasts, and please leave a comment below if you found it helpful.